Indonesia lies on the edges of the Pacific, Eurasian and Australian tectonic plates, making it particularly vulnerable to earthquakes. In this demonstration, we'll use the 2009 Padang earthquake to model a scenario which will analyse the impact of such an earthquake occurring again. Using the Modified Mercalli Intensity Scale, or MMI, we'll run two different analyses showing the impact of a similar earthquake on the population and infrastructure of Padang. Open the Padang earthquake file and you'll see there are 3 people layers. Select each layer in turn and examine the keywords in the InaSAFE window. You'll note that each of the people layers have different sources: AsiaPop rescaled 1 km and AsiaPop rescaled 5 km. These different layers represent the AsiaPop data at different resolutions. We're going to start by using the AsiaPop layer, which uses a cell size of 100 meters by 100 meters. First, we'll use the InaSAFE question form to build an analysis of the number of people who might die or be displaced should an earthquake like the 2009 Padang earthquake occur again. In the How Many drop-down, make sure People is selected. In the Might drop-down, ensure that Die or Be Displaced is selected. This will give us the question: in the event of an earthquake in Padang like in 2009, how many people might die or be displaced? Now, click Run. Using this small scale, you might find that you receive a memory warning. If so, you'll need to use one of the other 2 people layers, which have a larger scale and therefore require less memory to process. Whichever layer you use, the analysis might take some time. Now that the analysis is complete, we can see that InaSAFE has populated the panel with the data regarding the number of fatalities and the number of people who might be displaced. However, our map is not showing the data all that clearly. Hiding all other layers to clarify the problem, we can change our new Displaced Population Layers style options in order to give us better visual classification of the data. In this case, we'll choose Reds. Click Classify, then OK. Now we can clearly see that InaSAFE has calculated the statistics for very detailed areas of Padang, denoted by the different shades of red. Zoom into your map to get a better idea of the level of detail. You can use the Identify Features tool to examine the calculated data for each cell. In this example, we have the cell's geographic location, and InaSAFE tells us that an estimated 373 people would be displaced. In the InaSAFE panel, we have a breakdown of the data which InaSAFE has calculated for us. We have our question, the total number of fatalities, and the total number of people displaced. We also have the needs per week for these people, data which is critical to disaster managers in calculating what supplies would be required should such an earthquake occur again. The action checklist and notes give further assistance and details of the criterion used for the analysis. InaSAFE also generates gender and age reports, which in this case cover our entire region. For example, we can see that, should such an earthquake occur again, an additional 188,421 extra kilograms of rice would be required for pregnant and lactating women. The greatest cause of loss of life during an earthquake is collapsing buildings. InaSAFE allows us to use the MMI data coupled with structural data gathered by the international OpenStreetMap community to estimate the number of structures which might collapse should a similar earthquake occur again. Hide the Displaced Population layer, select the Buildings layer, and reselect the Padang earthquake layer. Make sure the Padang earthquake layer is selected, and then click the Zoom to Layer button. Click Show Question Form and update the question form to read: in the event of an earthquake in Padang like in 2009, how many buildings might be affected? Click Run. Now we can see that InaSAFE has estimated the number of buildings which would be affected by such an earthquake. Deselect the Padang earthquake layer and zoom in to an area of the map to see more detail. Again, we can use the Identify Features tool to examine the calculated data for each building. Here we can see the geographic information for this building, including its location and size. The MMI value tells us the intensity of the earthquake at this location, and we can also see structural information about the building.